Paul Zukofsky, October 22, 1943 – June 6, 2017, was an American violinist and conductor known for his work in the field of contemporary classical music. Career. Born in Brooklyn, New York, Zukofsky was the son of the American objectivist poet Louis Zukofsky and Celia Zukofsky. He was of Lithuanian-Jewish heritage through his father. His mother, Celia, was a Jewish musician and composer. Zukofsky studied violin with Ivan Galamian at the Juilliard School of Music. He won the Young Concert Artists International auditions in 1965. Performances. Labeled a child prodigy, Zukofsky made his public debut at the age of 9 playing the first movement of Mozart's Violin Concerto No. 3. At the age of 13, he gave his debut recital in Carnegie Hall. He was reported to have gone through a difficult program without turning a hair, removing a facial muscle, and described as a deadpan bundle of talent. The New York Times reviewer praised his technique, but also said that he played with little emotion. Zukofsky specialized in contemporary music and worked with, performed, and recorded the works of such 20th-century composers as Milton Babbitt, Arthur Berger, Isley Blackwood, Henry Brant, John Cage, Elliott Carter, George Crumb, Morton Feldman, Philip Glass, Peter Menon, Krzysztof Penderecki, Walter Piston, J. K. Randall, Wallingford Rieger, Giacinto Celsi, Artur Schnabel, Roger Sessions, Ralph Shapey, Harvey Solberger, Stefan Wolpe, Charles Wuorinen, and Yanis Xenakis. He appeared as the character of Albert Einstein in the 1976 recording of Glass's opera Einstein on the Beach, 1976, and gave the premiere of Glass's Violin Concerto, 1987. John Cage composed his Freeman Etudes, Books I and II. Etudes I-17, 1977–1980. For Zukofsky, over his career, he released recordings career on the Sony, Camerata, Cree, and CP2 labels. Academia. Zukofsky headed the Arnold Schoenberg Institute at the University of Southern California at Los Angeles from 1992 to 1996. He was also known for his involvement in relocating and rehousing Arnold Schoenberg's archive, moving it from the University of Southern California to the Arnold Schoenberg Center in Vienna, Austria, where the archive has resided since 1998. Recordings. Zukofsky formed a recording label, Musical Observations, Inc., of which he was president and for which he had recorded, conducted, and edited. Death. Zukofsky died on June 6, 2017 in Hong Kong. The cause of death was non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Executor. Zukofsky was the guardian and copyright contact for his parents, Louis and Celia Zukofsky. He maintained strict control of his parents' archive. In 2009, he wrote an open letter telling graduate students and scholars, in general, as a matter of principle, and for your own well-being, I urge you to not work on Louis Zukofsky, and prefer that you do not. Quote. In the letter, he required that graduate students ask him for permission to quote from his father's works in their dissertations, an extremely unusual practice, and made it clear that he might withhold such permission. Quoting from E. Cummings, he indicated that he believed that scholars write chiefly from self-interest, and any claims that their scholarship would help enhance Louis Zukofsky's artistic legacy were offensive. I can perhaps understand your misguided interest in literature, music, art, etc. I would be suspicious of your interest in Louis Zukofsky, but might eventually accept it. I can applaud your desire to obtain a job, any job, although why in your chosen so-called profession is quite beyond me. But one line you may not cross, i.e. never never ever tell me that your work is to be valued by me because it promotes my father. Doing that will earn my lifelong permanent enmity. Your self-interest, I may understand, perhaps even agree with, but beyond that, in the words of E. Cummings quoting Olaf, there is some I will not eat. Zukofsky wrote in the letter that his chief concern was to derive income from his possession of copyrights in his father's work. Not to censor what might be said, but it might well be the case that the unusual difficulty and expense of writing about Louis Zukofsky affected the poet's legacy. Scholars such as Daniel Nazar had responded that Zukofsky's own personal views were of no import to the law and to the idea of fair use. Works. Writings. Zukofsky. Paul. 1976. On Violin Harmonics. Quote, in Perspectives on Notation and Performance ed. Benjamin Barretts and Edward T. Cohn. New York. Norton. 1976. Essays reprinted from issues of Perspectives of New Music. The Perspectives of New Music series. ISBN 0-393-02190-4. ISBN 978-0-393-02190-5. ISBN 0-393-00809-6. ISBN 978-0-393-00809-8. Selected discography. Music for a 20th Century Violinist. Anthology of 3 Decades of American Music. 1940, 1950, 1960. Undated. Roger Reynolds. Roger Reynolds Collection 1964-present. 1964. Charles Ives. Sonatas for Violin and Piano. Volumes 1 and 2. 1965. Yanis Xenakis. Akrata. Pithaprakta. Yanis Xenakis. Capriccio for Violin and Orchestra. De Naturis Honoris. Christoph Penderecki. 1968. Richard Hoffman. String Trio. 1969. Michael Saal. Mitzvah for the Dead. For Violin and Tape. 1969. Roger Sessions. Piano Sonata No. 3 Charles Wuorinen. Duo for Violin and Piano. 1971. Paul Zukofsky. New Music for Chamber Orchestra. 1972. George Crumb. Black Angels. Charles Jones. String Quartet No. 6. 1972. Elliott Carter. Double Concerto for Harpsichord and Piano with 2 Chamber Orchestras. Duo for Violin and Piano. 1975. Paul Zukofsky. Library of Congress Music Division Concert. 31 October 1975. 3. OOP. M. 1975. Paul Zukofsky. Library of Congress Music Division Concert. 27 February 1976. 1976. John Cage. Cheap Imitation. 1977. Georg Philipp Telemann. Trio Sonata in A minor No. 5 from Esercisi Musici. 1978. Paul Zukofsky. Library of Congress Music Division Concert. 10 May 1979. 1979. Paul Zukofsky. Colonial Symphony Orchestra. 1980. Morton Feldman. Spring of Chosroes. Artur Schnabel. Sonata for Violin and Piano. 1981. Edward Stuemin. Dialogues. 1981. Paul Zukofsky. New Music from the University of Iowa. 1983. Philip Glass. Photographer. 1983. Dane Ruggier. 5 Stanzas. Epic Poem. 1983. Charles Wuorinen. Tuba Concerto. Glenn Lieberman. Dialectic. 1983. Joel Krosnick, Library of Congress Music Division Concert. 7 November 1984. 1984. Artur Schnabel. Sonata for Solo Violin. 1985. Paul Zukofsky. Sinfonie Joms vi Islands. Islandsk Vitak Vert. Icelandic Orchestral Music. 1986. William Schumann. In Praise of Shan. Aaron Copland. Connotations. Roger Sessions. Suite from the Black Maskers. 1988. Toru Takemitsu. Piano Distance. 1988. Paul Zukofsky. Juilliard Orchestra. 1990. John Life's Visions and Images Sound Recording. 1991. John Nordal. Portrait. 1991. Paul Zukofsky. Minon Contemporary Music Festival. 83. 1993. Benjamin Barrett's Group Variations 2 for Computer. J. K. Randall. Lyric Variations for Violin and Computer. 1993. Paul Zukofsky. Sessions. Menon. Blackwood. 2002. Paul Zukofsky. Shapey. Rieger. Piston. Crumb. Solberger. Berger. 2002. Milton Babbitt. Septet but equal. Foreplay. 2003. Johann Sebastian Bach. 3 sonatas and 3 partitas. 2005. Niccolo Paganini. 24 caprices. 2005. Paul Zukofsky. 3rd Into American Music Festival. 10 May 1965. 2007. All Music Biography. Paul Zukofsky Recordings. Copyright notice by Paula Zukofsky. New York Times on Schoenberg Archive.